about, even though there is a tremendous, like I would say, age gap, even though chicken by the swag, I wouldn't know who's the youngest between, but even though there is a substantial age gap, one thing that I heard in both of your stories is there was a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah.
A lot of sacrifice.
Yeah.
Whether it was going out for the summer, whether it was moving away from your parents, there was a lot of sacrifice in this. Whoever wants to go first,
So
somebody speak to the
I'm
sacrifice.
I'm gonna take that because and this is gonna be a touchy one because I sacrificed the ultimate, which you haven't done, which I'm so proud of you, and I'm not just saying that. I sacrificed the ultimate, and that's my family. Because we were taught in the old, you remember,
Yeah.
that what comes first? God,
yeah.
ministry,
Then family.
and then family.
Yeah.
It was wrong. It was erroneous teaching.
Yeah.
And some of them still believe that.
Yeah.
I sacrificed my kids, my marriage, everything for success.
Yeah.
And so the biggest sacrifice is not being there more. And so I can be very transparent. I couldn't talk about that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get all emotional.
Yeah.
The biggest
You start crying.
No, we way past that, bro.
Bring them in on it. If you start crying, we gotta get that.
We way better than that.
No. Seriously, they look at a plane, especially Micah look at a plane and they say, "Daddy," I mean, because I was gone.
Yeah.
And when you look back at it, for what? You know, when you look back, so the ultimate sacrifice, and if anybody watching, whether you're a business person in marketplace, ministry, whatever, don't sacrifice what means the most to you. Even though Abraham was told to take his only son when it was only a test, that wasn't a sacrifice.
Yeah.
God wanted to see, was he willing? You know, I don't want to preach that because Pastor wasn't bad preaching.
No, that's
was
not
was he willing to give all that he had? And some of y'all trying to sacrifice your family, it ain't no. And I'm very proud of you, the way that you do with your son. And, you know, many people know your story because you told your own story. You tell your own story, nobody else can tell it.
Yeah.
But that's all I see
Yeah.
is you and your son. And I know it's intentional.
Yes, sir.
Because you came up in a preacher's home.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So that would be mine.
Yeah. I see that, Bishop. I think if I would answer what it cost me, I think it cost me my youth. To be honest, you know, a few years ago, God blessed me out of order. You know, I got distracted in a season and made some distracted decisions, and distracted decisions don't have to be destructive decisions, but sometimes you hit a space in your life where you're just making bad choices, and it has nothing to do with anybody outside of yourself. It's just some things you're going through, you know. And I actually was in a space that, because I had navigated church young, man. I started my church at 22. Okay, at 22, man. I'm and numbers don't matter. We had a few people join our church over time, but we started at 22, man. I'm like, so a lot of those times, people don't know, Bishop knows, there were times that I had to live in the church. I had built an apartment in my church with 3 services, lines wrapped around to get in. But I'm living in the building because the church, they can't afford to pay me and keep the church going. Those are the type of sacrifices. What costs the most are the things people will never see. You see, that's why lies are loud. The truth whispers. If you really want to know what stuff costs you, it's part of the chapters that don't make the public real. You get it? So really, it cost me my youth, and it wasn't until I had a son that I realized how much I missed out on of being a young man. You get what I'm saying? So I really realized that man, on my prom night, I ran through my prom because I had to preach. Yes, sir. I had to preach my prom night. I ain't had time to be in here with these hoes. I got to go.
And you can say that on this show, Reverend. Don't worry about it.
I got to find me.
Everybody else running through everything else.
I said, I can't do it. I said, I got to preach. It was prom night. And I went because it was a girl that I had a crush on. I'm telling you, I went. I had a baby blue pinstripe suit. Sure did. And I took this girl some roses on prom night just to see how she was going to respond, because I was going to make her first lady, right? But she was a little older than me, so I gave her roses and said, "Hey, you want to go out with me?" And she said, "Well, you can't take me to an R-rated movie." I said, let me go on and serve the Lord. He said, I went on. And how about this? How about this, Greg? I bumped into her a few years later, though, at Fairlane.
Yeah.
Bumped into her at Fairlane. Then she came and had all these children. Saw him come. She said, run up there. That's your uncle. I said, no, you didn't take my role.
You didn't take
but seriously, my ministry cost me my youth. I preached on my prom night. And I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all. But it kind of made you as a young preacher. You get what I'm saying? People look for reasons to criticize you. You get what I'm saying? They don't give the young preacher grace at all. They want to say this why we don't deal with the young preachers. You get what I'm saying? So the line, like the spotlight, is on you for so long. If anything, I never got to like really go to many clubs. I never was on the club scene. I couldn't go to the club. I was preaching at everybody's church, and I couldn't go. I didn't have those experiences. So it cost me that. And when it comes to how that's affected me now, I'm in a space in my life that the pandemic gave me space to really find myself, because I couldn't get in touch with nobody else. So this pandemic created this space where it reintroduces you to a version of yourself you never really know existed. So now all of a sudden I'm wearing sneakers, like gym shoes. I didn't buy gym shoes until 2020, because I had to preach. All my shoes was black. What are you talking about?
Man.
So that's what it was. It cost me my youth, but just like anything else, God has given us grace in time to get those things back.
That's the product of him costing his youth, not when Jim